Hi, Leigh.
Hello. We're on fire, Fiona, this episode. I'm stressed.
I normally would kind of, to use a British phrase, fanny around, kind of chit-chatting about this, that, and the other. But I'm actually really keen to get into this episode.
Please, this is Queer Gals Watch the West Wing, and this episode we are watching Season 4, Episode 17, Red Haven's on fire.
Yeah.
What is Red Haven?
We'll get to that. Absolutely fantastic episode, if you ask me.
We are powering into the final third of the season, which I can't believe it's gone by so fast.
It has. So
we only have a few more eps with Aaron, Fiona.
I know. And I feel like I haven't really been thinking on that for fear that it will make me kind of sad. But actually, perhaps we should ponder more on it. Pondering over. Let's go. Should I jump straight into the recap?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I have had 2 cups of caffeinated tea today, and I don't know myself. I've been on a strict, no caffeine kind of vibe at the moment for, it's something, anything to kind of quell the general sense of anxiety in my body. But today I was like, you know what? I will have that cup of caffeinated tea at sort of 3:30 in the afternoon. And listener, I will not sleep. That's
She
for
will
sure.
not be stopped. The brain will not be stopped tonight.
No, go wearing away. And I'll be thinking about this episode because on the Previously On, we are fraught with stress, both campaign-based, obviously tax-based, and then additionally the kind of ongoing genocide in Kundu.
Yes.
It's quite an energy to enter into.
Yeah, not good. Marines have been taken hostage.
Yes.
Toby still inexplicably being allowed to use his phone. And my cat is attacking my foot in quite an aggressive way.
She's very foot-based, is Katie.
She does have a thing about feet. Yeah, I'm going to have to kick her out of the room because she's driving me. She's in a frisky little mood this afternoon.
I just saw her run out of frame then. Yes, Toby Ziegler is firmly just on his phone in a police station.
Which feels not allowed.
It does, but somehow I feel like Toby Ziegler is above the law.
I would agree. I would trust his judgment implicitly, and I do think that his absolute power corrupts absolutely, but I do think his judgment I would personally take as the word of God, because that's the spicy little mood that I'm in this afternoon.
Well, Sam's on the way over, and I tell you, if I was someone who felt comfortable hugging other people, I'd give one to Sam because he absolutely impaled himself. So I think the least I can do is bring the Ziegler brand of wisdom to the campaign for the last week and be a role model.
In ways, I think that me and Toby are in similar mental states.
I'd like to discuss some of the things he says there.
Yes, what exactly do we think the Ziegler brand of wisdom is?
Because in my mind, that's just a wry, dry comment.
Yeah. But also I will defend you with my life.
Yeah, I will, step back.
I do not agree with what you say, but I will defend to my death your right to say it.
Exactly. Charlie, meanwhile, is having some sort of disagreement with a member of staff at the police station.
Yeah, Charlie's trying to throw down with the street. It's kind of a sad sight to see.
I've got American Express. I've got Visa. I could have posted and got miles, damn it. I love this from Charlie, frankly.
Love
just being like...
the idea that he's annoyed that he's not getting his points.
Yeah. Because that's truly a man, an upcoming... young professional man.
Yes, truly. But also it's it is just a mum with coupons.
Yeah.
Who's you mean to say you went to Tesco and you did not use the club card?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Grounds for divorce. I'm just so relieved that Charlie wasn't arrested alone. It's nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
Thinking about Charlie getting arrested by himself. I also feel could the Frenchie, in all of his privilege, not have been the one that stepped in?
That man's never thrown a punch.
That's true.
Jean-Paul is a soft man. And I mean that in such a way as like, he's all mouth and no trousers.
It's a great expression. I love that.
I don't fully know what it means, but it feels correct here. But like,
Yeah.
I feel like he would like talk a good game, but then if someone was like, okay, let's like a duel, he would be the one that like wouldn't turn up. If we're talking about like, the older days, you know.
Yeah.
He's not a man of honor.
He is not a man of honor. Enough said.
I do enjoy that Toby's grounds for hanging up the phone are he has to sign all of his bail paperwork, and there are so many places he needs to sign. He just like hangs up by going, "Excuse me, I think they're making me buy somebody's house."
It's incredible. Yeah. It then transpires that it's not even Toby's phone. How expensive is that going to be to that poor woman? He was on the phone for a long time. He probably used all of that poor woman's minutes.
She's going to have to go and top up now.
Yeah.
Also, why is Sam Seanborn leaving his own campaign event to come and get Charlie and Toby from jail?
I think because everybody else is on Air Force One back to Washington, D.C.
Right. I mean, in many ways, it's friendship.
It's so friendship, but also I do feel that Sam could have sent someone, but it is also very Sam to be like, no, I must go myself in person.
I will go.
The candidate.
Yeah.
A moment of realism. We finally see a woman check out Charlie Young. It has only taken 4 seasons for this to happen.
Yeah, Charlie's like kind of like huffing and puffing. He sits down in a chair next to the woman who's lent her phone to Toby. And the way that woman looks at him, like he's a good old slice of pie.
Which he is.
He
and
is.
It feels only right that it's being finally acknowledged in the face of, you know, Frenchie getting all of these compliments for how cute he's supposedly supposed to be.
Yeah. I enjoy that Sam's arrival is, you trapped people at Disneyland, you told the French they could stick a loaf of bread up their ass, you had a meeting with a communist, then things are looking up because my new campaign director just made bail.
It's beautiful.
And then he's like, whose phone did you call me from? And Toby's like, that woman over there. And he was like, wait, you called Air Force One from this woman's phone.
From like a call girl's
phone.
Cell phone.
Toby's...
Which we then have the most incredible callback from Toby being like, I don't know that you're, Sam, the person to be lecturing anyone else about their connection to call girls.
You're really going to be teaching a seminar on call girl caution?
The circle back to Sam's history with sex workers really did me in the best way. Like in all of his kind of like highfalutin candidate glory, just to really bring him crashing back down to earth. Also, do we feel that, how do we feel Laurie feels about Sam's political campaign?
I would love for them to have like got coffee before he left DC.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like they're now friends who maybe once a quarter send a long email to each other.
Yes, definitely. But it would transpire, Fiona, that the American people are aware of the arrest.
Yes, the photographers are outside.
Which I think will be fascinating to see play out. My hope is that the American people see Toby and Charlie's arrest for the daddy move that it truly is.
We can
from
only
both of them.
Hope. But we're flying back to DC. And just a note that we've got a guest starring Mary Louise Parker.
Obsessed. I like her even more now that she's not Josh's girlfriend.
Oh, I hate to say that, but I do agree.
They have much better hot ex energy, I feel.
Yeah.
Not that they didn't have chemistry as a couple, they did. But they just feel correct as exes.
I feel like Aaron keeps trying to give Josh a girlfriend, and then he keeps finding that those characters are so much more interesting when they stop being his girlfriend.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Josh,
he then makes one of the funniest jokes that he's made in this series as a whole when he calls Donna, the famous libertarian, Trotsky because she went to one meeting with a communist at his own request.
It's really good. The main kind of topic of conversation in this scene is how we're going to kind of get the Marines back alive, like the rescue mission. And it is a really tricky situation to pull off. Like, it does feel like Jed's on a knife edge here because if this goes wrong and we suffer the first fatalities of this choice to intervene, suddenly I think we're in a very different climate.
Yeah, I was really worried at this point in the Situation Room because I'm like, we've not seen yet a situation where Jed is in the Situation Room and he's not pulled off the military maneuver that he's trying to do. Like, I feel like anytime we've had any kind of like rescue mission or anything like that, where we've been in the Situation Room, it's always kind of gone Jed's way. And I was worried that this is the moment where we see it go wrong. But then also I was like, 2003 patriotism, is America allowed to fail on national TV at this time? Maybe not.
Yeah.
So I felt very conflicted about where we were going.
Agreed. And actually how Aaron chooses to play it out is really interesting. To the writing interns.
Mm-hmm.
And there's definitely a kind of hierarchy amongst the gals, I'd say.
Yes, Cassie speaks for the Laurens, by the Laurens, and of the Laurens.
There's also definitely vibes between her and Will, no?
Oh, I just don't want him to sleep with an intern.
But it doesn't...
I honestly did not... That honestly did not read for me.
Did it not?
No.
It's, for me... I feel like it's interesting that for you, your instinct would be like, oh, it's going to be like, they're going to shag. As opposed to like, kind of all we've seen from like interdepartmental affairs so far is actually like, no one's really sleeping with anyone in the White House. Like, did CJ and Danny even sleep together?
Maybe not.
And
I feel like they did. I feel like CJ and Danny hooked up like 2.5 times.
I love the concept of a 0.5 time.
Like the 0.5 being like the intention was there, but then it either got interrupted or derailed.
Yeah.
Like it actually happened twice, but the intention was there 3 times.
Love that. I'm really enjoying like Will's teaching of Cassie and the Laurens, but I also really would love him to have like 1 or 2 senior staff members, because this does feel like we're putting a huge amount of onus on like some very junior people. Yeah.
And the concept of a young female intern in the White House in 2003 feels very charged.
Doesn't it just? But I feel like that's why it's been done, right? Will is on the phone to Toby. Toby's like, yeah, you know, because there was this whole like bar fight thing. And Will's like, yeah, it's in the paper here.
Yeah. The concept that like it would be on the news in California but not across the country really like dated the show for me,
right? In
a way that it hasn't felt dated in like a while.
Just in terms of like, we're like pre-smartphone, pre-news apps, pre-24-hour news cycle, I guess.
Yeah. Just the idea, that it would be like, oh my God, it like made the news over there. It's just so funny.
Yeah.
But then obviously Will hits him with the most incredible line, which is, a Jewish guy won a bar fight. It's news everywhere.
Truly.
Which is how we know they're friends.
There is a closeness that has grown between them.
Because you would not make that joke if you were not close.
And if you were just scared of Toby Ziegler. So Charlie is also going to be kept in California, and he's going to be staffing the First Lady. And
Obsessed.
I ask, what sort of hijinks do we feel Charlie and the First Lady are going to get up to?
Oh, wait. Amy, just the gal we need.
Yes. So we kind of have a little scene where everyone's being deployed in certain ways. Amy is there and she's kind of like chatting the guys through what Scott was doing.
Which is interesting because she's kind of like a strategist.
Yeah.
And like a message person.
Yeah. And it kind of becomes apparent that Scott was sort of tanking this campaign from the start. And kind of was like, well, he'll never win.
Yeah.
So like, let's just keep like the DNC's ties strong in Orange County.
He almost wasn't there for Sam as a candidate. He was more there for like the party.
Yeah. But we're kind of crashed in this moment by breaking news that the 3 Marines who have been captured, there's been photos released on the news in Kundu, and it's clear that they've been beaten.
Which I think we all remember moments like that from the Iraq War, which were really,
So it does feel like very on the pulse for like a potential torture storyline in 2003.
Yeah. Obviously, we're coming at it from the perspective of US military being victims of torture rather than it being in any way part of a US policy.
For sure.
But it feels ballsy even to bring it up as a concept in 2003.
Agreed. It is Sunday morning and Josh has siphoned some money from the budget that the First Lady wanted for vaccines. This will not go well.
When will we learn, Josh? When will we learn?
She will come for you.
You have never sparred with Abbey and won. Never.
It does feel like the staff that work for Abbey that Josh is just like kind of dealing with are quite wet.
Yes, which we will get into later.
Yes. But good morning, Cassie.
Good morning. I'm obsessed with Will. Once again, I believe we have a deputy White House communications director who is neurodivergent. The way that Will just asks the most direct possible question, there's no kind of subtle reading of human dynamics.
No.
He must have it confirmed in a direct way. Are you the leader of the group?
It's very good.
But we are learning people management skills. Little by little through this experience, which makes me feel like
baby step.
It makes me feel like it is a grand plan from Toby Ziegler in some way.
I think so. It's a big lesson in you can't do everything by yourself. You have to build bridges. And then Cassie's like, oh, your sister was so right about you.
Haunting.
I know.
If somebody said to me like, oh, Fiona was so right about you, but in quite a deadpan way, I'd be like, that could mean so many,
right?
It could mean so many things.
What's
Fiona
your
knows so much. There's so many private things that Fiona knows. I don't know what she, on this occasion, might have been referring to specifically.
There's definitely grounds for spinning out, for unspooling, perhaps. What do you think?
This is why hiring your sister is a dicey choice.
Yeah, your little sister as well. What do you think Elsie said?
I thought in this moment that she maybe said something about him being like their dad, being like a military taskmaster.
Yeah, like kind of being like all work, no play.
Yeah.
Will does a very fun scene with a whiteboard where he like breaks down taxes.
We love a visual aid.
We do. And I was like, this was actually, as a viewer, very helpful to me. But I also feel like a version of this would be helpful for the people of Britain right now.
Yes.
I just need more programs about politics which explain what politics is about and what people are proposing, because misinformation is so rife right now and it's scary.
It's really scary.
And that's all I can speak of in this moment.
Yeah. But he's basically breaking down like how much tax people pay on the basis of how much they earn for a living. And he uses the example of like somebody in a minimum wage job, a school teacher and a doctor. And then one of the Laurens goes like, yeah, but that person worked hard to get into medical school. To which Will has the most incredible rejoinder, which is, was there a spread on this in Republican Vogue?
It's so funny. And like,
it's so cutting.
Honestly, the way that actor like literally looked like the ground had been taken from beneath her is correct.
I plan on bringing it into my everyday as an expression.
You
Did you learn that in Republican Vogue?
But Joshy. The jump scare of Stockard Channing in the doorway to Josh Lyman's office.
I love that whenever Abbey appears in Josh's office, it is always a jump scare. You're very stealthy, ma'am. I've always liked that about you.
essentially she's kind of come down to tell him off and be like, that money was mine.
Mm-hmm.
He then says, this isn't school. I work with people who can play.
Josh, I thought we'd moved past this. We've already had a full storyline of you patronizing the First Lady. This is a terrible idea. And the other thing that I will be bringing into my everyday is, you're comfortable being this condescending with me?
Yeah, which is her retort to, this isn't school. I work with people who can play, which I think is sensational.
It's similar to Dana Cathan from Vanderpump Rules, who I love, has an expression which I have adopted into my everyday life, which is, I'm surprised you feel comfortable saying that.
It's very that.
And it's very that energy. But this whole conversation around like where Abbey is the First Lady can play and where she can't play and where her staff can play, it's all feeling very Hillary.
Yeah.
Which I've not felt like a Hillary energy around Abbey for a while.
No, she seems, now she's going into this, like we've started this second term. She's like aware that she's got 4 years on her hands. And you can like, there's this feeling that she's like itching to have like a thing to do.
Yes. But we then learn that her chief of staff is her nephew.
Yeah, I really don't like that.
What happened to Lily?
Yeah, and also just like, I didn't see that for her. Being like, oh, my nephew will do it.
No, but then we come up with the question that maybe Abbey needs a new chief of staff, to which my first response was, Donna?
And mine was, I bet it will be Amy. I like, God, let it be Amy. Because that's such a good parallel for like, it brings her into the story whenever we need her. It brings her into Josh's life whenever we need her. It puts her in this powerful position. We still get the character, but it's not necessarily like an every episode interaction.
Her and Abbey have a very fun dynamic with each other, as we saw when we saw them drinking wine.
You don't think I want to write a book someday?
Well, exactly. We know that Amy wants the job because she ultimately wants to end up being Abby's biographer. And I know it was kind of a throwaway comment, but I think it is a real ambition from Amy.
Back in Cali, we're on a beach.
Nothing has ever looked more unnatural than Toby Ziegler on a beach.
It's not an environment that he should ever be in. It looked so wrong.
It looked so wrong. And I do think that is an incredible performance from Richard Schiff, because then we do learn that it is in fact Toby's first ever time on a beach.
Which is so funny because it means like he and Andy didn't have like a beach honeymoon. Like
he has never once taken a beach vacation in his life.
It's really funny.
It makes me feel like the only like big abroad trip that Toby has done outside of work is like visiting the memorials of World War II across Europe.
I don't even think he would do that. Like, I think he might be like, I've never left the States apart from that one time where Andy made me go to Barcelona.
Yes.
And I had a horrible time.
Yes, because I wasn't working and I have a problem with work.
Yes. And like, it was too busy and loud and I didn't like the food.
It's possible he's just never traveled for leisure.
I just think Toby struggles to do anything for leisure.
Yeah.
While they're pacing down this beach, CJ kind of like pipes in and comments of Sam. He looks so youthful and energetic. Do we have anything he can jump over? And she's right.
I love it. Let's face it, Sam has been working out since he's been in California. He's treated himself to a personal trainer for the period of the campaign, which I think is a very healthy choice. And I just love that we're seeing CJ in full kind of PR spin mode. It's very fun.
It's very Samantha from Sex and the City.
It's so Samantha from Sex and the City.
Which again is a crossover episode I would love. Just her and CJ both in like a hotel bar. And just like, would you mind awfully if I sat with you? That would be delightful. You know, a go can
Charlotte gets awkward because she voted for the Republicans.
Yeah. We jump back to DC because we have some updates on the Marines and the plan to extricate the 3 hostages. And we meet Jed outside of an office, and he says this thing. He says, "This is my first time doing this particular one."
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so that he's called people to say that it's not gone well. But he's also called people to say, like, it's good news. So, like, what does this particular one mean?
I think it means they're here physically in person, and there is nothing he can tell them because it's all top secret.
100%. And then what happens on from there is, like, one of the most, like, heartbreaking and uncomfortable scenes where he has these 3 families, including a 3-year-old child. And he's just like, I can't tell you what we're doing. I can't tell you if they're alive or not. And I can't tell you how long we might have to wait.
Yeah, the families of the Marines are so incredibly well cast to be like the breadth of America. You know what I mean? Because there's like a young blonde wife and child. There's the like first generation Hispanic parents.
Yeah.
There's a kind of white
single mother,
middle-aged, with a pixie. Like, it's just the full range of,
And he has to then leave these families and head to the sit room where he's getting given, like, the breakdown of what they're going to plan to do and, like, what the next stage is. And they start talking about the CIA wet team.
And he's like, but they're not going to be anywhere near water. Why is it the wet team?
Which is so fun because I'm like, of course Jed wouldn't know that. Like, why would he need to know that?
Yeah.
He's not a military man. He doesn't strike me as someone who likes spy novels.
No.
But, like, you know, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Would you like to know a little fact about wet teams?
Yeah.
So the reason why it's called a wet team is it's derived from like the Russian term. And it does mean like wet, like bloody. But kind of essentially they're the people who are sent in to undertake assassinations or like we slip in, we do the deed, we get out, and then we're just like, there was no one there but that guy who was delivering mail.
Right. Got it.
So it's like proper spying.
Like Jason Bourne.
Yeah, very much. Like very much kind of like a James Bond character.
Yeah.
And they're everywhere, Leigh. You've probably met a spy on more than one occasion in your life.
Whoa.
I know. Crazy, right? But this rescue attempt, it is a go.
It's a go.
And we must check in with our interns.
The Willy of it all.
This was so funny. Elsie is like chastising Will, and then she calls him Willy, and he's like, "Don't call me that." And I was like, this is a very good use of a family nickname from her that he has been trying to get away from, I assume, since the age of 4.
And if it gets brought up once in the West Wing, you just know that it's going to stick to him like glue.
Yeah. I think Elsie's such a phenomenal character. She's like coming in with like the tough love that Will needs. Like, we love a baby sister that's going to be like, like, stop with your shit and just like get it together, man.
It hurts me. It physically hurts me that we've not seen Elsie and Donna spend time together.
I know. I want to see
or
her
Elsie
with the
and
other.
Margaret.
Yeah, with some of the other pool of staff, it would be really fun. And I would like to see her interact more with like CJ.
Yes.
And like it's we indicate that she's
one moment with Toby was so brilliant when he was like, "You feel comfortable going through the world with a name like Elsie Snuffin?"
Yeah, so good. And I feel like we're indicating that she's working quite closely with Abbey, but like we've not got to see them together and spar off each other. Small moment of conjecture. At the end of that scene, Will is in his office and the window that he broke a couple of weeks ago has new glass in it. And he just touches the glass and the window falls out and smashes again. Which is very good physical comedy. But the DNC honors the Bartlett women.
With the maddest speech from Abbey that I have ever heard or seen. She is in full drag queen persona.
It's a drag brunch. That's what we're at. We're at a drag brunch hosted by Abbey Bartlet.
Abbey is working a drag brunch. She refers to my husband's skanky ex-girlfriends.
To a room full of democratic women of middle age. And I'm like, what, back before he met you when he wanted to be a priest? Like, Abbey, I don't think there were any skanky ex-girlfriends. There probably weren't any other girlfriends, to be honest.
Yeah, back in the day at Notre Dame with the midnight curfew on people of the opposite gender being in the dorm rooms.
Meanwhile, Amy is on this top table having a terrible time.
Yes, this was when I was like, Amy will be her new chief of staff. I locked in.
She knocks over a candle. The candle sets fire to a napkin. She then tries to put the napkin out with a glass of water, which she then smashes.
It's a Josh Lyman worthy moment of physical comedy from Amy.
Honestly, and Abby's kind of going down this table saying this is such and such a woman who's done this, and people are applauding. And she gets to Amy, who's dabbing out this fire with a napkin, and goes, and Amy Gardner, who's had 7 jobs in 3 years. And I think that's a borderline unforgivable. That is such shots fired. That is
literally
such a read.
The women of the DNC, there's so many women in skirt suits. There's so many of them. They scare me. I'm terrified. It's it could be career ending.
Who's had 7 jobs in 3 years. That's insane.
It's so terrible.
We leave the meal and we're outside on the veranda. Amy is looking incredible. She's in this little kind of V-neck black top, but with a perfectly fitted cream suit and an over-the-shoulder, patent leather bag that's quite long, a big an envelope bag, a locket necklace. Mm-hmm. It's naughty's perfection for me.
Abbey is still in full drag queen mode. You give her a cigar, please. Anyone, give her a cigarette. Give her a cigarette in a cigarette holder,
please.
Because she just goes, "Oh God, Alana Waterman's about to zats me on fair pay. Save me, would you?"
And I must say, the skewering of Alana whilst reaching for a glass of champagne from Amy Gardner is beyond my wildest dreams.
It's a beautiful thing to watch. It's a beautiful thing to see in action.
She's like, wow, your piece was so brave this morning. And Alana's like, what do you mean? And she's like, well,
I love the passive-aggressive use of the word brave in 2003. Amy is ahead of her time with this shit.
She really gets in this woman's head in 25 seconds. And then Stockard's I meant take me to a different part of the room, not ruin that woman's life. But from silliness to the worst waiting room I think a person could be in.
Yeah, I will say Leo is, in fact, the exact correct person to be in this room
and
as
sat
a
with
Vietnam
these families,
war pilot.
But it was so interesting. So of these families who are there, the mother with the short haircut,
the Karen of the group,
is oh, this must be very out of your comfort zone, with your comfy chairs and security guards. And Leo's very politely excuse me, I'm not really sure what you mean. And she's oh, this must not really be in your wheelhouse. And he's no, one more time, I don't really fully understand. And then she's did you serve? Mm-hmm. And he's yes ma'am, I did. He responds with his service record with a real touch of class. Mm-hmm. Because the comment of the comfy chairs and security guards, I think would be enough to rile anyone up, let alone a veteran.
Yes.
But he
100%.
He maintains his cool and his level of respect for this woman in the moment. And it's this is an emotional response to the moment that you're in.
Yeah.
Rather than you being your
100%.
best person. Because
I think if you or I had been taken hostage, we know that Nikki and Jen in that scenario would not be being their best selves.
No. Confirmed.
But then the performance from Esteban just absolutely slayed me. One of the dads just basically asking if his son was being tortured, asking, do they have information that they could be tortured for, basically.
Yeah.
That as a question just really destroyed me.
Again, also a really like bold thing to put on television, like primetime TV in 2003.
Yeah, and the actor did a phenomenal. The actor gave like an incredible performance.
Yeah, again, the day players of The West Wing just absolutely knocking it out of the park. It's Monday evening, and Josh is being spoken to by a woman who he's worked with but doesn't know.
Who he's worked with for 2 years. Hey, how you doing? Mandy Tatum. We've worked together for 2 years. I'm immediately obsessed with Mandy.
Queen.
I love the blatant reuse. Reduce, reuse, recycle of the name Mandy coming back to haunt Josh.
The concept of being like, and who are you? And someone being like, we've worked closely for 2 years.
It's so damning.
But it's during this moment, Donna is reading a memo to Josh, which he is assuming is from Max, the chief of staff for Abbey. But it turns out it is in fact from Amy Gardner, and it is confirmed that Amy is the new chief of staff for the First Lady.
It's genius. It's the genius role to put that character in. Because it just basically means that anytime we see Amy, her and Abby can be giving Josh side-eye, which is all I want.
Yeah. And just taking him down a peg or two, you know? But in a sexy way. I'm back in Cali, and we are preparing for an evening event, a gala of sorts.
CJ, of course, looks incredibly hot. She is wearing a gown. It is tight to her body. Yeah, it has been poured upon her.
Yeah.
The absolute purity of Toby experiencing sand for the first time.
He's like, the ferocity with which he is smashing his shoes on a bin to like get the last of the sand out. And like as he's doing this, CJ's like putting on lip gloss and she's singing, "Sand in my shoes, sand from Havana." A little commotion for that, and I feel very deeply, Leigh, that she has had a small glass of white wine whilst getting ready.
I would agree. I would completely agree. I do feel that sand is the perfect enemy of Toby Ziegler. It is
a constant reminder of discomfort.
A constant reminder of discomfort, of everything he is not. It feels like we have discovered Toby Ziegler's kryptonite, and it is sand.
Yes. We should discuss very briefly Sam Seaborn's campaign poster.
I must pause on Sam Seaborn's campaign poster. Somebody in the props department had incredible fun. It is, in fact, just Sam's West Wing headshot from season 1.
From season 1's opening credits. But that's fine.
I love the idea that Sam Seaborn has not gotten new photos taken to run for office.
And just the show itself was like, we'll just use that headshot. Don't call Robin for like a photo shoot. We'll just use that one.
It's so incredible because it's like his actor character headshot. It's giving Hollywood in like such a big way.
Yeah. Some updates from the sit room.
Yes.
It's like very touch and go. We've been waiting for double the length of time we were expecting to.
It's been 4 hours. Those families have been in there for 4 hours.
It doesn't feel good, does it?
No.
And then Fitzy's like talking, we're waiting for some comms. We get some comms. We're in the helicopters. They're like, we can confirm that we've got this person, this person, and this person. And they name the 3 Marines.
It's just too good to be true.
We are like celebrating, but for a moment.
What's on the paper?
What's on the paper?
Fitzy's passed a paper. I don't like Fitzy being passed a paper.
No. So what's happened is whilst we were on this rescue mission, the standby base that they created to like prep for the mission has been bombed. It's in Ghana, and 17 people have been killed. So we saved our 3 guys, but that moment has cost the lives of 17 Americans.
And it's like not even the guys on the front lines that
it's like the support
kind of reckoned
staff.
With that. It's like administrative staff
as well. So it's like it's got a different flavor to it to just soldiers or armed forces killed in action. It feels like we're going to war.
Yeah, I was like, we're going to war 100%.
and like how we navigate this could be one of the most important moments of the Bartlett administration to date.
And like, that's the crazy thing about like a presidential legacy is everything that has come before that moment could be entirely forgotten because his whole legacy now could be a regime change war.
Yeah.
Hello, George W. Bush.
We jump over to the interns.
The Laurens are learning.
They are. I love the
I'm
Laurens.
so proud of the Laurens.
I'm also so proud of Will. I think we're all learning.
We are.
But they've done some good work. And basically Will's like, that's you guys dismissed for the night. And then he and Elsie are like, oh, we just received this news that this incident has happened and it's cost the lives of 17 Americans. And the Laurens just like get to work.
Yeah, because basically they've been working on all of this like tax policy speech, and now none of it's going to be used because now the tax stuff is not going to be relevant in the news cycle tomorrow.
Yeah. And Will's like, they do know that they're like dismissed, right? And Elsie's like, I think they know, but like you've made them. You've made 4 members of staff. It's beautiful.
Growth.
And we close out at an empty bar with Toby and Sam.
Almost a mirroring moment of Toby's moment in the bar
with the
during
dad.
Jed's first campaign.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And that kind of moment of slight despair. Just a couple of shots and a glass of beer for the boys.
It's a crazy order, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I could do that, but then I feel that Toby is a harder drinker than I am.
Well, we've seen him order Jack Daniels before, which also feels crazy, but...
And Sam's like, look, you've got all these things lined up for me to do. You've got all these talking points, and we're just talking to people who we know already support this, like who already support the Democrats. And Toby says, yeah, well, you're preaching to the choir because that's how you get them to sing. We know those people agree with us, but that doesn't mean that they're going to go out and vote. We need to get them to get up and vote because that's how we're going to have any chance in hell of like doing well on this. Because essentially, I don't think we're going to change the minds of the other people.
Yeah. And you essentially see Sam have our like most idealistic character have the moment of realizing that he probably isn't going to win.
Yeah.
Which I truly feel like hasn't occurred to him up until this point.
No, I don't think so. And there's this like really lovely moment where Toby says,
oh,
you're going to lose, and you're going to lose huge, and they're going to throw rocks at you next week. And I wanted to be standing next to you when they did.
If that isn't simultaneously the most beautiful and the most Jewish thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. Yeah.
It feels like we are deeply rooted in that character's heritage in that moment.
Truly. And then they hug, which personally for me was too much, and I felt emotional.
Yeah. But also like, I had an emotional moment of being like, yeah, because Toby knows how to do this. Jed is his first candidate who ever won.
That's so true.
So he knows how to be the guy who's there on election night when his man loses.
Yeah. It did also just kind of feel like a goodbye.
Oh no, don't say that.
You know?
Oh God. I don't want that to be the way that Sam... Surely we're going to see...
him lose.
Like an election result.
Surely. And like a commiseration
I'm still holding
moment.
I know, I'm still holding out hope that like, obviously, I think we're losing him.
Yeah, in general. Yeah, at the end of the season, he's not coming back.
I'm hoping there's like a moment of like, we get to see him. I still think he's going to win. And that's how he leaves the show. Is like, I'm going to go be a congressman now.
Yeah, or there's the possibility that he loses and they're like, well, there's this new job for you at the West Wing. And he's like, you know what? I think I actually want to work in like politics in like a particular area, like in like local politics. I don't want to be in the West Wing.
That would feel very Sam, actually, wouldn't it?
But yeah, that's the end of this episode.
It feels like a very meaningful, pivotal final scene of an episode. I just don't know what it means yet.
No. And like, there's so much that's open at the moment and still kind of unresolved. I feel a bit stressed.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like that scene between Toby and Sam is one that's going to make me cry more on a rewatch
Agreed. That's so fair. I agree
Once
with that.
I understand the context of where
we're going,
things go from here.
Yeah. Leigh to the quick fires.
Yes.
Best fashion.
I think probably it's got to be CJ's gown.
The
right?
gown was incredible. I just beg of her, burn the shawl. She just threw a shawl on and I was like, why? You're in California. You don't need a shawl.
Yeah. There are other options for like if you need to put a little something over a gown other than a stole.
Yeah. I will say that Amy's suit was lovely. And a big shout out to the green champagne flute. Green glass champagne flute that she picked up during the skewering of Alana, which I covet. I was like, wow, I need a set of those. And I also need, and Leigh and I have talked about this often, the blue wine glasses that Monica Geller has in Friends. I forever have searched for them, like a heavy blue glass goblet. I dream of having one of those one day. Anyway, I'll get over that personally. What could a British or Irish politician never get away with?
I'm going to have to give it to what you've put with Amy for sure. Yeah.
Accidentally setting a table on fire and smashing a glass and then getting a massive promotion.
Yeah. Having been very publicly shamed for having been fired 7 times in the last
which is crazy, like with the previous breath. Did you have a candidate for queerest moment that never meant to be queer?
I think maybe the final moment between Sam and Toby. It felt very ex-boyfriends in a way.
Yeah, like meeting up like 5 years after they were together, like through a work thing, and then being like, you know, like maybe we can be friends. Like maybe we can be here for each other. Personally, for me, the more I'm with Elsie, the more I'm sure she's queer.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. She is the kind of gal that would drive like a stud wild, I think.
Yeah. And let's leave that there. Your best writerly moment.
Ooh. I'm going to have to agree with you. I think, hey, how you doing, Mandy Tatum? We've worked together for 2 years.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It's also the fact that like we've never met this character before. So it's as if we've seen it through Josh's eyes this whole time.
Like, who are you?
And Mandy's just always been there, just slightly out of shot.
Yeah. We must give some commotion for a Jewish guy won a bar fight. It's news everywhere.
Agreed. Yeah, 100%.
Any man I feel like a man winners for you?
I think I have to agree with you. It's got to be the energy between Charlie and Toby in the police station.
Yeah, Charlie's trying to throw down with the street. It's kind of sad sight to see.
And the moment that made you proudest to be an American?
That Toby just ensuring that Sam loses in the best way possible.
Yeah, because we had a line from Jed really early on in the series, did we not? About losing well.
I feel like it was Jed, yeah.
Yeah, something about a lion, of course.
Yes, it was the old black and white film. Incredible. I've had a whale of a time. I'm kind of wondering where the next kind of 5 episodes of the season are going to go, to be honest.
It feels like we're prepping for something huge.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a big end of season. And it does feel like we're going to war, but it can't just be that. Like something else bigger needs to happen that's like more present and at home, I think.
I'm almost like, does someone else leave the cast? Like we've almost spent the whole of season 4 building up to the idea of Sam Seanborn not being like a season regular anymore.
And is it actually going to be a rug from under our feet? They're like, oh, and also this person's going. That could be.
I really hope we're also building towards Charlie and Zoe getting back together.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's going to be something to do with Charlie.
Yeah. I feel like we've really recentered Charlie again, which we love, but also feels like there's something major coming for him. I completely agree. I know I've also predicted this towards the end of every single season, and it thus far has not happened, but it does feel like it would be an interesting moment for something to happen with Josh and Donna.
Yeah, agreed. Ooh, okay. Well, I'm kind of desperate to watch the rest of the season, but before then, I suppose...
Yes.
We should do some learning.
Yes. kind of in a similar vein to last week, I thought we should continue in our kind of ode to the Sam Seanborn of it all. Look at the kind of post-career of a White House communications director. I know obviously Sam was famously a deputy White House communications director, but I thought, as you know, I'm wont to do a study sesh on a gal in politics. So I thought we would look today at Alyssa Farah Griffin.
Let's.
What a fascinating woman. Her father, Joseph Farah, was the co-founder and editor of WorldNet Daily. Is this a publication that you've heard of?
No.
It's a website that was started in 1997 and predated InfoWars as like the main platform for unfounded right-wing conspiracy theories.
Wow. Okay.
In fact, in 2007, it was the site that put forward what Alyssa Farah herself now calls the racist birther conspiracy about Barack Obama.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's Alyssa Farah Griffin's father.
Interesting.
The originator of the birther conspiracy. The forefather of right-wing misinformation on the internet.
The origin of fake news.
Yes. Her mom and dad divorced. She lived with her mom, who was a journalist with the Associated Press, in California. Her dad lived in Southern Oregon with his new wife, where they lived on, quote, a compound where all of the WorldNet Daily staffers also lived, which makes it feel like a cult.
Yeah. The word compound...
It never feels good.
No.
It was reported by the Washington Post that her dad also went to work every day with a pistol on his hip, which Alyssa Farah has commented that's probably right. He owned guns and they were prevalent.
Wow.
She actually wrote for her dad's website when she was in high school. And Media Matters summed all of this up by saying, the daughter of right-wing conspiracy theorist and WorldNet Daily founder Joseph Farah, Alyssa Farah Griffin got her start as a so-called special Washington correspondent for her father's notorious, discredited website. Her thin publication history for WorldNet Daily was standard fare for the fringe outlet, echoing right-wing talking points to attack Democratic officials and the mainstream media while promoting anti-vaccine conspiracy theories.
Yikes.
So that's kind of where her career started. Vanity Fair described her career pre-2021 as a checkered history working for some of the most notorious right-wing figures of the last decade, which Media Matters summarized as Farah leapt from the toxic fringe of the media ecosystem directly to the Republican mainstream with roles as communications director for then Rep. Mark Meadows.
Yes.
So in 2014, she comes out of this kind of origin story to become Mark Meadows' press secretary, who was obviously kind of a big Tea Party Republican in Congress at the time. And she also at this time ran the communications team for the House Freedom Caucus.
Right, okay.
And she still to this day calls her time working for Mark Meadows in Congress a time she will always cherish. Vanity Fair said she paints him as father-like, telling me she'll always be grateful to him for sitting her down with tears in his eyes, promising, I will always protect you and you will always have a safe place with me. I remind her that she keeps telling me that they no longer speak.
Okay.
Which is an interesting foreboding for what is to come. So yes, she stresses that she did not vote for Donald Trump in 2016. She said she wrote in Paul Ryan's name, who was the Republican speaker at the time. But she did finally accept an administration job in the first Trump administration in 2017 as press secretary for Mike Pence.
Okay.
So a John Hoynes press secretary equivalent. Then she went on to have the same role in the Pentagon working for the Department of Defense. And then finally, her old pal, Mark Meadows, becomes White House Chief of Staff in 2020. And he wants to bring her into the West Wing. And she said it was like a homecoming walking into his West Wing White House office. He wanted her to be press secretary. She was concerned about, because she wasn't 100% behind Trump at this point, she didn't want to be like the face of his administration. She didn't want the legacy of her career to be being the mouthpiece for Trump. She was trying to avoid being like visually seen on television at this point. So she wanted communications director rather than press secretary.
Yeah.
And she promised that she would run the press shop like a well-oiled machine where reporters' emails or calls are returned. So she was actually in the role of White House communications director. She actually successfully had good working relationships with people outside of MAGA. Dr. Anthony Fauci, who was the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases and like was the leading man in America dealing with COVID, said that she is an outstanding person and a breath of fresh air who was a straight shooter in the darkest days of the pandemic. She defended me when I was telling the truth instead of attacking me the way that others did. She understood the truth is the truth, whether it's convenient or not.
Interesting.
This is where it gets interesting because in December of 2020, she resigns from the Trump administration. So at this point, the November election has happened. The Stop the Steal narrative has become a thing.
Yeah.
There have been various lawsuits about the 2020 election from the Trump camp, which are not going anywhere. The Washington Post called her resignation a tacit nod to Trump's loss. And she later told Vanity Fair that she hoped it would set an example to her staff that we're not going to miraculously win this thing.
Yeah.
Although she did not publicly say anything about that at the time.
Right.
Chris Hayes on MSNBC criticized her decision to resign at the time, quote, well after Trump had lost the election after months and months of selling poison to Americans about how the election was rigged. Basically saying, you know, the damage has already been done here, even if she chose to resign at that point. And he also criticized her for her statement that she agreed with Senator Ted Cruz on questioning the U.S. election results. Chris Hayes said, that's basically the laundered version of the big lie. That's the big lie light. So she initially leaves the White House on good terms. She advised the Georgia Republican Party in the January 2021 runoffs that were happening in the senatorial races there. She did spots on Fox News. She was kind of fear-mongering about the far left attempted takeover.
Yes.
And told people to vote if you don't want a rigged election. When she was more recently asked about those comments, she admitted, I was at that period doing what a lot of the Republican Party still is, dancing around the crazy and trying to use the language to appeal to the electorate.
That's an interesting phrase.
It is. And she remembers that around this time, Mark Meadows texted her things like, you're doing great, after seeing her on Fox News kind of parroting Republican talking points. But then everything changes when on January 6th, Alyssa Farah tweets, Dear MAGA, I am one of you. Before I worked for @RealDonaldTrump, I worked for Mark Meadows and Jim Jordan at the Freedom Caucus. I marched in the 2010 Tea Party rallies. I campaigned with Trump and voted for him. But I need you to hear me. The election was not stolen. We lost.
Okay.
She tweets this on January 6th.
At what time of day do we know? Like, is this to like calm people, or is this like as we're worried it's going to kick off?
This is like as it's all happening.
Right.
Because we also now know that she was texting Mark Meadows on January 6th.
Wow.
And we have the text that she sent, which is, if someone doesn't say something, people will die. She said later, I didn't really think twice about like, how is this going to affect relationships with people that I do genuinely care about? I just felt like something needed to be said and I wasn't going to wait to see if someone else was going to say anything. I'd say I lost a lot of friends. Which
begs the question, were they ever your friends to begin with?
discussing it with Vanity Fair, she apparently looked visibly emotional as she said, the same man who encouraged me to be like bold and break with the party when it made sense to, break with leadership, not be afraid to ruffle feathers if you think you're doing what's right, didn't do that in the moment that mattered most. I was just shocked toward the end that at every turn I felt like he did the wrong thing. And then she said, I have not spoken to Mark Meadows since January 6th. So she spoke out on MSNBC, CNN, and Fox News. Then Fox, quote, just stopped asking. I also wasn't reaching back out. Trump then sends out a email blast with a video of her gushing about him from the spring of 2020, which he is using as evidence that she is a sellout.
Right.
She responded by saying, I'm not somebody who drank the Kool-Aid for 5 years and then magically found Jesus on January 6th. There was a brief period where, I drank the Kool-Aid. And then she talks about the period that the video is from. It was a low point in the sense that that was probably when I was buying what I was selling the most. Now in 2022, I watch that video and cringe, but I'm actually glad he put it out. The people I'm most hoping to reach and convince that Trump is terrible for our country are people who, like I once did, support him.
Interesting.
A White House reporter who worked with her when she was White House communications director said she was one of the handful of people in the administration who I think everyone would agree was a baseline professional and competent person at her job. I never caught her in a major lie like I did others in the building, though she did spin a lot, as was her job. Another reporter said she was good at her job and very good compared to many others in the White House when it came to dealing with reporters. And a CNN employee told Vanity Fair, Republican but not delusional is an interesting kind of rubric for all of this, which is really sad but true. And I think that's what all the networks other than Fox have struggled with.
Yeah, interesting.
So she has this kind of like political transformation, right? And she said, never Trumpers don't accept me because they think I was in his administration too long. I don't expect the Democrats to, just in general. And then Trump world, I'm alienated from. I feel like the core of the country is a lot closer to where I am right now. Which I think is really interesting. She said, I came from an environment and was raised to have a deep distrust of institutions. And I think that was a factor early in my career, gravitating towards things like Young Americans for Liberty and the Freedom Caucus, which existed to challenge the Republican Party from within the Republican Party.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that with the benefit of history, I'm kind of the opposite. The only thing, or one of the only things I have faith in, are the institutions that provided guardrails to keep this experiment in democracy working. I think that's really interesting as well.
Isn't it?
It's essentially saying like, I'm a Republican and there's a lot that I want to fight for the Republican Party. But actually what I've learned is I want to defend institutions.
Yeah.
She now says of her general views that she could never see herself getting an abortion, but she does think overturning Roe v. Wade was a mistake. She said that she opposes the bathroom bills that prevent transgender children from identifying as they are. And she said it's a manufactured problem when there are simple solutions like gender-neutral bathrooms. Which is an incredibly common sense take and potentially something that TERFs in the UK could
perhaps
learn from.
Yeah.
It really supports aid to Ukraine. She said there's a difference between supporting Ukraine without putting a single boot on the ground and placing tens of thousands of our troops in Afghanistan for over 10 years. She also said, just to get like deeply personal for a moment, my dad and I have not spoken since January 6th. I always leave that door open. I believe in reconciliation. I believe in forgiveness. But essentially, her dad stopped speaking to her when she came out against Trump. All I did was state my opinion to a politician, she said, inserting a choice expletive.
Interesting.
So yeah, he didn't come to her wedding.
Wow.
She said, I would be lying if I said my father's company and role in the current state of right-wing media wasn't a factor in me feeling convicted and compelled to knock down disinformation. It's so interesting because she in a way is kind of like a Nepo baby within right-wing media. But then on the other hand, it's almost like having that insight is the thing that has then now given her the ability to push back rather than fully going to like a Caroline Levitt place.
She's seen behind the curtain. So she's like,
she's seen the wizard.
Yeah.
and the fact that he's just a man from Kansas.
Yeah.
She said, I basically set my world on fire doing what I thought was right, and was just surprised to be met with like an additional condemnation from a person close to me. The easiest thing in the world would have been for me to keep my mouth shut, stay in one of the dozens and dozens of Trump-aligned operations. I'm telling my truth and I have never shied away from doing it. And frankly, I have had a lot of personal loss. She no longer speaks to Mark Meadows or Kayleigh McEnany, but she does still speak to Cassidy Hutchinson.
Interesting.
She said, we were texting this morning. She told Vanity Fair, I'm trying to get her to move to New York. She said, I've realized I'm the furthest thing from a populist. She identifies as an old school, free minds, free markets, globalization is not a bad thing kind of Republican, and, quote, would be a libertarian, except I'm so hawkish on foreign policy. Which to me says, beware, because libertarians are insane. But what career pivot has Alyssa had since leaving Trump world?
Tell
Do you
me.
know?
No.
She is now a co-host on ABC's The View.
Didn't think you were going to say that.
She joined in 2022. And when she joined, the View, I mean, it's the American Loose Women, had been for 3 years running the highest rated daytime talk show in the United States. She replaced Meghan McCain as the conservative voice on the panel. Meghan McCain obviously famously made a name for herself for her kind of sparring spats with Whoopi Goldberg as the two kind of opposite ends of the extreme on the panel of The View. The View is actually like super culturally relevant because Barack Obama was the first sitting president to appear on a daytime talk show when he went on The View in 2010. ABC's internal research indicates that the audience for The View leans Democratic but has large numbers of independent and unaffiliated voters.
Interesting.
Yeah. And basically, the conservative seat on The View has had a lot of turnover before Alyssa Farah Griffin got the job. But it's also become a really important part of the show's dynamic, not because of like having political balance in like a BBC kind of way, but because it obviously gives like real worthy moments that can go viral, and it makes it dramatic. And a former Republican co-host, Abby Huntsman, said like the pressure to create controversy was part of why she left the show in 2020. Right. One reporter who worked with Alyssa Farah Griffin said, with The View, they are looking for someone who was pro-Trump but is also anti-Trump, who has credibility with Trump world but also rejects January 6th. That is a constituency of one. Like, that is Alyssa Farah. She's the only person who fits that Venn diagram.
The perfect hire.
Exactly. Alyssa Farah Griffin said, at no point in my entire life was my goal to be on TV and be a talking head. I know I for sure said to my husband multiple times, I want to stay off TV because I don't forever want to be seen as a Trump spokesperson. Famous last words.
Yeah.
And she actually said that her biggest concern when she auditioned in 2022 was actually doing like the lighter segments, because obviously they mostly have like celebrity guests on The View.
That is tough, like in terms of like a different muscle. Like now I want to go and watch an episode of The View.
Oh, do not get me wrong, the majority of what Alyssa Farah Griffin says on The View would drive me to madness. Like, I don't know how Whoopi Goldberg does it, quite frankly. And they use an example in the Vanity Fair article that I was reading of like RuPaul being on The View to promote his memoir. And admittedly, you know, during that section, Alyssa Farah Griffin didn't contribute much, but a live audience member, Nate Job, 33, who is gay, lives in Hell's Kitchen and works in content marketing for a hospitality company, responded from watching the taping by saying, she's relatable to our generation. We don't agree on certain policies, but she's pro-LGBT. She believes in human rights, and she's so articulate and easy to understand.
Is she pro-LGBT?
Well, I mean, she's for gender-neutral bathrooms.
Yeah. Okay,
and calls the so-called trans debate a manufactured problem.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah. And by the way, this whole interview that I have been quoting from quite deeply is in her dressing room at ABC Studios. And Charlotte Klein, who wrote the article, describes her through this interview as being sat in her dressing room in the lotus position in a hot pink Dolce & Gabbana suit and a pair of nude-colored platformed heels from Gianvito Rossi. And then apparently she just says, from wardrobe, not my own. Which is very camp. She's also now a big CNN commentator, and she regularly kind of goes head to head with people like CNN host Van Jones, who's a civil rights advocate, and former senior advisor to Obama, David Axelrod. David Axelrod gave a quote to the New York Times about her saying, there are a lot of refugees from Trump world who are objects of interest, but not all of them are as comfortable in the medium as she is. She's very, very fluent, and she's a great communicator. I just think that her kind of post-politics with a large P career is fascinating, considering that she has actually kind of managed to carve a place for herself in like pop culture and be kind of a lightning rod for like quote unquote normie Republicans.
Yeah.
Through the second Trump term.
Yeah. She's really found an avenue, and I think it must have been insane environment to compose a tweet in on January 6th. But had she not composed that tweet, it would have been a different story.
Yeah. And she kind of says now that she resigned a month prior because she could see where things were trending. And obviously, like, that's a really easy thing for her to say in retrospect. And obviously, she did get behind the big lie message while she was still in the role, which I suppose, you know, you could make the argument, how much did she have a choice in that or not? But ultimately, she is a great communicator. So she was a huge part of helping sell it. But I also think, as much as we disagree on basically everything except gender-neutral bathrooms and the fact that repealing Roe v. Wade was a mistake, I think it's really commendable to be raised by the father she was raised by. Because I think, you know, it's very easy to take for granted when you've been raised by liberal leaning or even just open-minded parents, as opposed to being raised by someone whose goal is to indoctrinate you into a cult, really boxed-in way of thinking. I think to come out and have nuanced views on things and say, I'll take this, but I won't accept that, and do that publicly, even when it means, I think she said at one point 50 people cancelled coming to her wedding because of what she did, including her own dad. Like, I think you can critique the impact she's had on history for a number of things, but I think you can't take away from her the fact that that is very, to use a triggering phrase, courageous, and not to just let the Amy and us all completely eviscerate. But I think that's really brave, and I don't think you can take that away from her.
No, an interesting woman.
I would be fascinated for you to watch some clips of her sparring with Whoopi Goldberg on The View and tell me what you think.
I will do.
Yeah. Should we come back and do this again next week in whatever world we're landed in?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, I really feel like the outlook for Bartlet 2 feels kind of like up in the air at the moment. It feels pretty dicey. So yeah, let's. To episode 18. I can't believe it.
Wild. And we've got our gifts from Erin to open next episode, which I'm excited about. We are queergalswatch@gmail.com. Queer Gals Watch on socials, although this season, because my mental health has been spicy, I've not been posting on our podcast Instagram, so apologies for that. But we are still reachable on there. And I'm always checking in on the Patreon and the Discord because it's just fun. And a thank you again to everyone who supports us on Patreon, because it's the only reason that we get to keep doing this is because those people help us cover our costs. So thank you for that.
We're very grateful. And we'll be back this time next week for more fun and frolics in the West Wing.
Bye-bye.
See ya.